Hello and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. So I'm just going to do a quick show, limited information on a true crime with Layla, Silvernail, and the two other teenagers that were found shot and killed in Florida. So yeah, let me take a moment to focus and tune in. All right, so I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with the situation. 3 teens found on 3 consecutive days having been shot. And yeah, I must say, quite disturbing. And I must say, Layla reminds me of my niece. So I guess from that aspect, it affected me, as well as, you know, the senseless killing of 3 teenagers. All right, so let's have a look and see. Let's break down the days, because of course there's very limited information. So primarily I've drawn out the days, you know, from when we discovered the first teen, which was Layla, March 30, and then I backtracked all the way to March the 27th, and then I forwarded all the way to April the 2nd to see what we can find out here. All right, so there's a lot of information on this page, and I'll take you through it slowly, and we'll go step by step. All right, so I see I also brought out the March 26th, and I believe I am being directed on this case by Layla, Angelic Layla. All right, so let's have a look here. Very little to go on except for the days that we have and the ages of the 3 victims. So Layla, we know, was 16 at the time, and that's an outcome 7. The second male, or the male, was 17.8. And we have the third victim, female. That's the one that was found in the car in the water, and that car belonged to Layla. And that teen was 17.8. Now, the first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is March the 30th, 2023, and March the 31st. Now, with this case, we are seeing a mass of 3s, highly abusive, all about control, power and control, power and money. Okay. Now, on those 2 days, we see in those 2 black boxes a mass of 3s. Now, I believe the people responsible for the crime are represented by the number 30, 30. And we see that 30 pop up on March the 27th. And we have the mass of 30s as well on March 31. We have the 31-4, that's another death there. And the 34-7, also another death there. So, you know, looking at this from a numerology point of view, I have also received some impressions. So let's have a look here. I'm going to go through the messages, and I'm going to take you through the numbers as they played out. Now, let's go to March the 26th, 2023, and please bear with me. Very limited information, and yeah. All right, so let's have a look. March 26, 2023. So on that day, I believe that 26/8, there was an argument that would end up with the situation that we have now with the 3 teenagers. And I believe this could have been ongoing even earlier in March, but let's have a look there. So with that argument, 26/8, we have a 29/11/2 outcome. So there is all about the threat of death. A law was going to be broken, and we have that 18/9 outcome. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos that 18/9 is a discussion about murder. There is a hit being put on people, and we've seen this in previous cases as well. And so that when we get to March 27, there's the hit. 27/9 is the hit. The order of the hit by 33. Okay. Now, with the outcome 10/1. Now, I believe during March 27, so I would say March 26 to March 28, there was some kind of war going on between groups. And of course, in this case, we could say gangs, because when you have the 10, 1, 33, that's all about mass group, mass people. But what concerns me here is I believe there was some kind of breakaway on March 27. So we almost see it on a literal basis where we have, let's say, the number 30 gets reduced to the number 10, and we see March 28, the 10, 1. So I believe there was some kind of split or getting rid of people that belong to a group. Okay? And that's what I'm picking up on March 27 and March 28. There was some kind of split happening between groups. Now, when we get to March 29, I believe what happened on that day would trigger off the events as we know it. But what concerns me the most is that 14.5. Now, of course, we know a law was going to be broken in that 11.2. There was a hit, the 29. But what concerns me is that 14.5. Now, that 14.5 is lies, 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 like we saw in the lorry case, like we saw in the Alec Murdoch case. Lies, lies, lies. And I had the impression while meditating, some kind of a snitch type scenario, like a snitch had told other people about these people. But what was said about the 3 people was a lie. So this is why this case actually was a bit of a head turner. It's almost like these people were not meant to die. That's the impression that I got. Now, of course, they are dead, and we can debate that from a universal point of view. But I say a betrayal had taken place, and I believe these people were betrayed. Okay? Now, the impression that I received about Layla is that she was, in a sense, the innocent person here, but I believe was brought to these people by the male and the female. And Layla paid the ultimate price. And I believe the people responsible then flipped on male 17.8 and female 17.8. Of course, they became the loose ends and people that know too much. And I believe that is what happened. And the result of that is we find that the male and female were found murdered as well. Okay, so that 14.5 that we see on March the 29th plays out at the end of the day, March 31, after the male was discovered. So it's always interesting to see the day after. So we see the day after of Layla's death, right? We have the 14.5. That always reveals, in essence, what actually happened or what caused the death of Layla, and that 14.5 is the issue for me. Okay? Lies were told, and there was a betrayal, and I wrote the words deception, lies, drugs, money, 5, the number 5, and also about control, 3. And we see in this case the dominance of 3s, and we see in the crimes of passion, those 3s are always popping up. And we see the mass of 5s. Now, the spark of this whole thing is the number 5. Okay? I believe there were drugs involved here. I believe there was money involved here. And there was definitely lies and betrayal going on here. And unfortunately, these kids did not stand a chance at all. Okay? Now, that is obvious to say, but I'm pointing out that when you have the mass of 3s, masses of 5s, and the 7s, not good at all. Not very good at all. So on that March 30, there's that red arrow, and I'm going to read that paragraph. Female victim was held in a warehouse. Now, I believe I received an image of the female 17-8 that was found last, with duct tape around her mouth. That's the image I received. Terrified. I believe one of the other victims, male, was lying on the floor to her over shoulder left, deceased. So on that day, March 30th, I believe that male was already dead. And I believe he was dumped where he was found. And I believe all these victims were shot elsewhere and dumped. That's why when we discovered that vehicle on April the 1st, 2023, with that 12-3 outcome, that car in the water was staged, and that was crime scene number 2. This reminds me of the Nicola Belay case, where it was assumed she had drowned in the water, but when they found her in the reeds, I believe she was placed in those reeds sometime after. So here's the same situation where that car and the victim, I believe, was already deceased, was set up and staged by that water scene. All right, so I'm going to finish off the paragraph. The female found in the car was kept alive for 24 hours. Now, that 24 hours could be either that they had her captive or they decided she was going to be last. Okay? The first female victim, Layla, was killed on that day, March the 30th. So I believe she was definitely murdered on March the 30th. And what concerns me on that day in that red block, the 33, the 33-6, that 6 there is the gunshots. Okay? Very violent. And the 13-4, death. Now, what also bugs me, and I received impressions on the suspects, what concerns me as well is the 7s. And those 7s often refer to law enforcement. So if you look at suspects on the bottom left, I've got security police and or security personnel type people. And I believe at least one of the suspects male with black hair. And there was also a female suspect. Now, what's interesting here is when we have the presence of all these 3s, I believe, and I wrote it here on the top left, the 3 teenagers may have witnessed a previous crime or were aware of a crime of this gang or group of people. And as a result, they were going to take that group, were going to eliminate these people because they knew about a crime. Okay? I don't necessarily believe that it was some kind of initiation type thing where, and we have that here in South Africa as well, where these young gang members, they get told to go kill people as part of their initiation. I don't believe this is the case with this one. I believe this was a targeted hit, because these 3, or at least one of them, Layla, knew something they shouldn't have known. Okay? I don't believe it was some kind of initiation process. And again, I keep getting drawn to that 33-6 on March the 30th. That is very violent. Very, very violent. Now, I must say, that 33-6 is a power number, the 33. Now, on the positive aspect of that 33 is about creation. It's about getting something started. It's the spark needed to get the combines turning, if you like. It's the spark to get engines turning, if you like. Those people with 33-6 are usually, for a lack of a better word, fire starters. They are people that can get things going, very creative people. Now, on the flip side, that 33.6 is about ending creation, ending life, murder, violent murder with a weapon, number 6. So I believe this story is about knowing too much, and there was a split between groups. Someone lied about someone else, and a murder occurred. And murders occurred. So, you know, if I was the police, and I don't want to victim shame or victim blame or anything like that, but from a lead point of view, the female 17.8 that was discovered last in Layla's vehicle, if we had to dig into her background, we will start to find solutions, is my opinion. And the vehicle that she was discovered in will be a key source of, and I'm going to say it because it is in police custody, so it will be a good source of evidence, as well as if it has a tracking device, the police will know where that vehicle was. And in fact, I wrote it down here somewhere. There was I've just been reminded, it's in that paragraph. Yeah, they were held in some kind of warehouse before they were murdered. Now, some kind of warehouse, so it could be like a farming type structure that you'd see like corrugated iron or sheet iron type, and possibly even airport hangar came to mind as well. But that kind of structure, they were held there. Yeah, this is a case of 3s, 5s, and 7s. And I do believe because the crime was committed in a 7-year, the perpetrators will be arrested without a doubt. And I believe Layla was led into the situation based on a lie, pushed along by female 17.8, and male 17.8 went along with female 17.8. So as heinous as this crime is, I think it got even worse at an interpersonal level where people were betraying each other, backstabbing, throwing them in front of the bus, as it were. So a very messy situation. And of course, lots of information is going to be revealed about this case. And, you know, I can just say from March 29 to March 31, chaos. Chaos, chaos, chaos. And what also perturbs me from a numerology point of view is we have the repetition of days. So if you look March 28, 11-2 outcome. March 29, 12-3 outcome. March 30, 13-4 to the 14-5. When we get to April 1, we're back to the 12-3, and then we have the 13-4. This is a lot of game playing, backstabbing, betrayal, manipulation, exactly what we saw in the Nicola Boulay case. People working in the background. That when we look on April the 1, we have the presence of the 5. April 4, the murders. 12-3 is about female energy. It's about being kidnapped. It's about being abducted in the negative aspect. And again, those 7s are bothering me again. So on some level, there were either some kind of police involved or security type people involved in cahoots with gang members killing young teenagers. So this is a massive spider web of betrayal, deception, and lies. And I believe it's going to take some time to fully understand what actually happened here. But certainly people were betrayed. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this case and monitor the unraveling of events. And once I have more details on the 3 suspects, then I'll do a deeper dive and just see where the impacts are for each three, and more so on the role that these three people played. But yeah, very sad when we have three teenagers just shot and dumped on the side of the road. Not very good. All right, so let me know what your thoughts are, and I'd love to read your comments. And if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification icon. And I'll just say stay safe, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one.